welcome to In Your Face with Jack Roshko and Will Rommel. I'm Burke Layden. Today we are going to be discussing whether or not the Red Sox should trade for Cole Hamels and whether or not steroid users should be in the Hall of Fame. Let's start with Cole Hamels. Do you think the Red Sox should trade for him, Jack?
I don't. The Red Sox, their season is all but over. They've lost now 7 in a row. They're 11 games back of the Yankees after today because the Yankees are about to beat Baltimore today. And their season's hopeless. They have a lot of good players. They're going to be very, very good very soon. But right now, their season is over, and they need to pack it in, and they need to hold on to everything they can and not give up any pieces that can be valuable in the future, which they will need to do to give up to get Cole Hamels.
Okay, Will, what do you think?
Cole Hamels, he has 3 or 4 years left in his contract after this year. I think 3, but I'm not sure. The Red Sox are going to need an ace for the future, and why not get it now? Get him accustomed to pitching in Boston for the second half of the season. Boston fans are not the easiest to play in front of. Why not get him used to it until he starts a new season? Or maybe he has a bad start on opening day. And some people can't play in Boston, and maybe you need to know if he can. And trade him before the season starts if he can't do it. But I think they should trade for him. Even if they can't win this season, he's got a longer contract, and he can win in future years.
A la A.J. Burnett, so to speak. That's what you're saying.
Sure.
All right, next topic.
Okay, so we're going to start with Jack. Do you think steroid users should be in the... Actually, we're going to start with Will this time. Do you think steroid users should be in the Baseball Hall of Fame?
Without a doubt, they still have to hit a baseball. Nobody can do that. There's so little people that can hit a baseball at 95 miles an hour. If you try and do it, just because steroids enhances how they do it doesn't mean they shouldn't still be in the Hall of Fame. They're professional baseball players. Everybody does steroids. 90% of baseball players do steroids now.
That's just false. If 90% of players did steroids, with the way drug testing is set up now, they would all be caught.
How do players come back from a torn ACL in 6 or 7 months?
Those are medical steroids. Those are allowed to be used. Steroids are allowed to be used for medical purposes. You can't take anabolic steroids for the purpose of enhancing your performance, which Barry Bonds did, which Alex Rodriguez did, which Jeff Bagwell did. All of those guys, Sammy Sosa, another one, Mark McGwire, all of those guys, they took steroids. They should not be in the Hall of Fame. Do I think that what they did, regardless of steroids or not, is extremely difficult? Of course I do. I played baseball for years. It's impossible. But they did it better than what they should have been able to do. And because of that, they shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame because their numbers, regardless of whether or not you think they could have achieved them clean, their numbers are tainted.
It's called the Hall of Fame for a reason. They achieved their fame by being so good. They were all good before they took steroids.
And then they became better. We don't know if
they played in the era of the steroids. Multiple players did steroids.
Exactly, and none of those players should be in. That doesn't mean they played in the era of the steroid. That doesn't make it acceptable. Right now, the NFL is in the era of domestic violence. Should we be rewarding those players for beating the crap out of women?
Domestic violence is totally different than steroids.
Of course, it's completely different, but it's the same.
Why'd you make the comparison?
It's the same general point. Players should not be rewarded for breaking rules.
It's not.
They broke the rules. They should not be rewarded for it in any capacity.
So players with domestic violence shouldn't make the Hall of Fame. Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that
but
they
it's
should
the same point, right?
It is the same point. But I'm not talking about the Hall of Fame in football. I'm not talking about football at all. Actually, I'm just trying to prove a parallel, that there is a parallel. Players who break
if you
the
can hit the
rules
baseball out of the
should not be
ballpark, no
rewarded
matter
for it.
what, you should make the Hall of Fame.
That's your opinion?
Yeah, I'm going to have to go with Jack on this one.
Good for you.
I don't know. I don't think if you use steroids, you should be in the Hall of Fame. And
you can't just take steroids. You have to work on steroids. You can't just take steroids and instantly be good. You have to work out to get better. It just makes it easier to get better.
Exactly.
You can still do it. You can still do it.
Breaks the rules.
All right. Well, thank you for tuning in. That's all the time we have for today. For Jack and Will, I'm Burke. Thank you.